It does not begin with a bang. It begins quietly, almost politely. A treaty is signed in a room of marble and gold. Hands are shaken. Cameras flash, capturing a flicker of hope. For a brief moment, the collective lungs of the world exhale. Peace, they say. Stability. A new era. And for a fleeting second, we believe it. But beneath the surface, the physics of our civilization begins to shift. Before the first shot is fired, a different kind of war takes hold. A war of the mind. On the glowing screens that once connected us, talk show hosts sit under blinding studio lights, their faces tight with a frantic desperation. They lean toward the lens, stretching their palms out, spreading their fingers wide. They are pleading with an invisible audience, proving the ridges of their knuckles and the imperfections of their skin. Look, they say, count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I am real. I am biological. I am not an architecture of code. In those final days, we became obsessed with the physical, even as the truth began to evaporate. The cracks appear in the periphery, a border dispute, an uprising. Maps begin to change, not all at once, but with a creeping certainty. Supply lines fail. Food becomes a luxury. Prices climb until the currency is just paper. Governments demand obedience in exchange for order, and still the entropy spreads. Then come the skies. Satellites vanish. Our signals simply fracture. But in that fracture, something impossible occurs. High above the atmosphere, in the silent vacuum of the infinite, the chaos takes on a celestial form. A silhouette against the swirling nebulae. A DJ spinning the data of a dying world into a cosmic frequency. He plays for the void, his hands moving over controls made of light. Around him, the children have escaped the gravity of the trenches. They drift in the weightless dark, spinning in slow, graceful orbits, dancing among the cold light of distant stars. And there, closer to the source, a woman has found her sanctuary. She reclines in the literal heart of the solar system, her monumental form finally at rest. She bathes in the raw, unshielded glow of the sun, soaking in the solar wind as if it were a warm tide on a summer evening. To her, the end of the world is nothing more than a change in the weather. As the DJ's frequency ripples across the planet, the world stage becomes a theatre of the divine and the deranged. In the centre of the Grand Plaza, beneath the gaze of a billion lenses, a nun stands alone. She holds no rosary, but a terminal. With a serene, practiced motion, she triggers a nuclear device, letting the fire consume the horizon as if it were a holy benediction. And the people, they do not run. They dance. They sway to the DJ's celestial tracks, their silhouettes flickering against the rising cloud, celebrating the arrival of the ultimate light. But back on the broken earth, the war arrives in earnest. The sky tears open with fire. In the deep, jagged veins of the ground, the trenches have become a grotesque playground. The children who could not escape chase one another through the mud, leaping over spent casings and the cooling remains of engines. And above them, perched on the scorched lip of the trench, the woman is mirrored, a heavy shadow sunbathing in the searing, infrared glow of the incoming fire. She tilts her head back, finding warmth in the thermal bloom of distant impacts. Across the wasteland, a pattern emerges. Advance, fire, fall, replace. It continues until the machinery of war simply hesitates. A soldier lowers his weapon. Someone is laughing. In the middle of the ruin, dozens begin to dance. A waltz with no orchestra? They spin toward the heavy sky, grasping at fragments of a world that has already ended. But beneath the ruined earth, in chambers of concrete, others hide. They descend into the deep maintenance levels, into a room where the pipes have burst, spilling a thick, luminous sludge, a soup of isotopes and chemical waste. There they lose the last of their dignity. They wade into the radioactive sewage, splashing like children in the toxic warmth. They smear the glowing grime across their faces, laughing as the poison seeps into their skin, turning the act of dying into a grotesque game. And in that quiet, submerged madness, he is there, not appearing but simply present, standing at the edge of the water. The filth does not move around him, and yet every soul in that room turns toward him. Jesus. He looks at them, not through them, but at them, as if nothing has been lost. And then he lifts his voice. A song. Not for them, but sung upward, to his Father. The sound moves through the water, through their bodies, through the very marrow of their bones. Above them the world notices. The sky is wrong. Not night, not a storm, but a folding of reality. The dancing stops. The man in the top hat freezes. The sky begins to open like a veil being pulled back. Light spills through, not blinding, but absolute. It finds the soldiers where they kneel, and then they see him, simply there, as if he has always been standing at the centre of the chaos, waiting for us to finally notice. No banners, no marching armies, and yet everything bends. Weapons feel heavy and useless. The weight of every choice is laid bare in an instant. The battlefield falls silent. The fires seem small now. In his presence, the war collapses with a quiet unravelling. The endless cycle finally stops. Armageddon was never just about destruction. It was a revelation. The end of everything false. And as the light reaches beyond the horizon, touching every scar of this world, one thing becomes clear. For the first time since we began, the world is standing still. Well, through the smoke-choked streets of the city, the absurdity reaches its zenith. A massive tank grinds forward, its steel tracks shrieking against the pavement. Perched atop the turret is a man, immense in a tuxedo and a gleaming silk hat. Beside him, clinging to the cold iron, are young women in ill-fitting soldiers' uniforms, their hair braided with tattered ribbons. They laugh and wave at the empty windows as if they were in a victory parade, while the man in the top hat drinks from a crystal flute, toasted by the very fires consuming the skyline.